Okay, good evening, everybody. A very, very warm welcome to everybody who is joining us this evening. I'm going to try and leave the chat open so I can see who's joining. If this is your first time on Zoom, you'll be glad to hear you don't have any participation at all. You just can sit back, relax, and listen to it. This presentation is being recorded. Charlie, I think you are logging in on the same system as me. So if you want to maybe log out and come back in on another system, I've got some interference on the controls. My name is Lara Zimmerman. That's a picture of me there. I am your host this evening. Now, I have been asked to present to you all this evening to really invite you along. You've been invited along to take a look at a business opportunity that can give you a residual or royalty style income. That's what you've been invited along to take a look at this evening. And it is my job just to share the value in the company, in the opportunity, and in the products behind that with you. But before I do, I just want to really briefly introduce myself. I know some of the people on the line, I've spoken to myself. I see that we've got a lot of guests on the line, and you might go, who is Lara? Why is she here presenting this information? So really quickly, in a minute or less, my background has been in traditional business up until 7 years ago. So I had my own recruitment company in Ireland for many years, moved to the UK. I had a yoga business for 8 years. So health and well-being has always been a massive passion for me. I franchised that business throughout the UK and also into Australia. And I sold that 7 years ago. And the reason I share that with you was 7 years ago when I was first introduced to this industry of network marketing. Now, if you're a traditional business owner, pop a 1 in the chat. It's always kind of good for me to know if you've been in the traditional business world. Love to know who's on. Have they been there? If you've been in this industry before, then again, pop a 2 in. I always like to know who's been in this industry before. Well, I got into the industry. My first couple of years, I sort of failed myself forward and ended up becoming a 6-figure-a-year income earner in this industry. It was actually interesting. Today, I was talking to a lady who I connected with through LinkedIn, and she said, I didn't realize people actually did that. And I said, yes, it's possible. Now, I left my last company over 2.5 years ago. That's not a story I'm going to go into right now, mainly because I didn't feel the direction they were taking was right for me or for my team. But that's when I came across LifeVantage. And I have to be honest with you, I was really reluctant to take a look. Because I had been in 2 companies. I had a huge amount of success in one, but I'd also been let down. So I put together a criteria with which I was going to see if LifeVantage was right for me or not. And I want to share that criteria with you this evening, primarily because I know most of you are coming on this evening because somebody has grabbed your attention. They've told you about the amazing products we have. And they've also said, right now, here in the UK, in Europe, we're looking for people who want to grab this with both hands and run with it, because the company is really in its infancy in international expansion. So the criteria that I kind of went through when I looked at this, number 1 was the timing. Okay, I think everybody would agree, in business, timing is a key aspect of that. Look, 20 years ago when Google started, that was the right time to start a search engine company. Fast forward to today, it's really hard to move into that space because they're being dominated by the Googles, the Yahoos, and the Hotmails of this world. Again, look at how technology has changed. 30 years ago, beepers were the in thing. Then we got mobile phones. Now we have smartphones that do so much. So timing is a massive aspect of it. Next big thing for me was proof. Okay, this is an industry that people have been looking for proof in. People looking for information on, okay, so you're telling me you have a great product. Where is the proof? And I think it's really important to understand why companies choose to promote a product through a network marketing model. It's typically because it gives the product a voice. Now, in terms of our flagship product, ProTandem, which I'll talk about in a few moments, it went on sale in North America in around 2003 in the likes of CVS and Walgreens, the retail sector. And the company were selling half a pot per store per month. They were doing around about the $3 million mark, which was not a lot. And the main reason was because nobody knew or understood what an NRF2 product was. Now, what happened was the ABC Primetime channel came along, and I know a lot of people on the line will have seen that news report. If you haven't, we can get it to you after this evening, so don't go Googling it now. We'll make sure we send it to you later. And what happened was there was an awful lot of excitement, an awful lot of interest in that ABC Primetime report, but the report was short-lived. You know, the public forget. And 4 years later, after trying pretty much every single route to market, the company realized that putting the product in the hand of distributors, people who they could incentivize to go out and share it, gave that product a voice, a daily voice in all over North America. So in 4 short years, the company went from doing $3-4 million a year to now over $200 million a year. So that was one of the kind of criteria as to why it ticked the box. The timing was right. The method for moving the product was right. But most importantly was the proof. And I go back to this point on numerous occasions. The company have 23 independent peer review published studies validating what this product does. And we're going to talk about what that product does in a moment or two. But unless you have proof, nobody cares. And what I love being able to say to people is the likes of Harvard Medical School, the National Institute of Aging, the American Heart Foundation have initiated and funded their own research independent of the company LifeVantage, and they've been able to validate the findings of the company. And in fact, the National Institute of the National Institute of Aging in North America conducted a 10-year federally funded study into a whole host of natural products, and Protandim was the only one that they said could positively affect the aging process of our body, which was pretty important. So, you know, when looking at a business opportunity, those are the things that you want to look. There's also other key aspects, and maybe not as important, but things like the corporate team. Who are they? What's their track record in building the business, and the proven system? And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So diving into what we actually do. And I think this is really, really key. You know, you'll hear people talk about biohacking, and biohacking is a very provocative and kind of contentious word. I first time I heard about it, I went, am I really comfortable with the word hacking in what I'm doing? But what it really means in layman's terms, it says whatever you're genetically programmed to do, we can hack into that and we can make it better. Okay, it's a word that you're going to start to hear a whole lot more about. It's interestingly, the industry that we're in, or the products have been developed in the area of nutrigenomics, is set to be a $600 billion a year industry. And when you think about that, you think about how much of that would you like a share of. Now, at the last quarter of 2017 in North America, there was a nutrigenomics convention. 1,000 people attended. The LifeVantage convention had 5,000 people present. So I chose this company, and I share this with you because I know that I've got business people on the line. I know I've got people who are looking at this thinking, you know, if the conversation is legitimate, which it is, the company's floated on the NASDAQ. And I often say to people, you know, do you think the Attorney General in America made sure it ticked all the boxes before allowing it to do that? If it has independent scientific validation, and you're one of the first people in Europe to take a look at it, is it worth taking a look at? So that's what I wanted to share with you in terms of where we're at, in terms of timing, in terms of the research, and in terms of the company that we're working with. So before I dive into what the products do, people often say, well, what is nutrigenomics? And I like to try and explain everything in without the jargon. I've trained in nutrition many years ago, and what I often say to people is I think we all understand basic nutrition. Wind back the clock a few hundred years ago when we understood the fact that how not to get scurvy, having a balanced diet. That's type 1 nutrition. You know, second generation nutrition is what we call supplementation. And most of us, again, are familiar with supplementing. And we typically supplement for one of two reasons. Either our bodies are lacking in something, so we're deficient, maybe in iron, vitamin D, there's lots of things you can get tested for, or as we all know, our food is deficient. Take a nice big head of broccoli or an apple, it doesn't hold the same nutritional value as it did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But nutrigenomics is a new area. Nutrigenomics is actually about using natural ingredients, in our case, primarily herbs and plant-based products, to positively impact your body. And again, I'm going to bring that into layman's terms, but you know, our flagship product, Protandim NRF2, is the product that somebody probably grabbed your attention with. And the reason we get so excited about that product is it's clinically proven to lower something called oxidative stress in your body by 40% in 30 days. Now, what is oxidative stress? Well, it's quite simply damage caused to your cells by free radicals. And it doesn't matter how healthy you are, we're all exposed to oxidative stress. And I often bring it right down to a really basic level when I'm talking to people. They go like, just explain to me what this product does. And I say, well, look, when we're born, from about the age of 0 to 20, our body produces enough stuff. I'm going to use the word stuff, so go with me. I know that we have people on the line from nutritional backgrounds, medical backgrounds, business backgrounds, but I want to keep this in jargon free. So from the age of 1 to 20, our body produces enough stuff to keep us healthy. From around about 25 onwards, we produce less of this stuff. From around about the age of 60, we start producing less and less and less of this. And what ultimately happens, we get illness, we get disease, and we die. And we're all genetically programmed to do that. That's a matter of fact. Now, what Protandim does is it increases the production of that good stuff that your body was producing in abundance between the age of 1 and 20. And it just keeps your body healthier for longer. Okay, that's the layman's version of it. So it's bringing back your oxidative stress levels to that of a young child. And I can happily say that because it's been independently validated by 23 independent academic scientific institutes. So I'm not going to go into the massive science tonight because I know most people who are joining us are here because they want to hear about the business. And that's what tonight's call is primarily on. But, you know, if you're like me, if you've come from a nutritional background or you understand what oxidative stress is, most people, when they hear about NRF2, they automatically assume it's an antioxidant because we know you should take antioxidants to fight free radicals. But let me tell you, it's not. Okay, it activates a pathway to every cell in your body and it increases production of the stuff, the good stuff, which is enzymes, okay? And it brings it back down to that of a newborn child. And people say to me, well, what's the comparison? I've only got my little espresso cup here, but taking an antioxidant like, say, a 3-ounce bowl of blueberries is probably going to neutralize around about 7,000 free radicals, whereas one molecule of an enzyme your body produces called superoxide dismutate. In fact, superoxide is the worst free radical that our own body produces. Superoxide dismutate is our own body's defense mechanism for that. One molecule of the SOD will neutralize 1 million free radicals per second all day, every day for up to 2 weeks. So taking a antioxidants is like throwing a glass of water over a burning house, whereas increasing your own body's production is like having a fire hose in every room of your house. There's a whole lot more science behind it, but it is so incredibly powerful. And again, none of the ingredients in this product are you deficient in. Nobody's turmeric deficient, okay? You're not deficient in these. The combined effort of these 5 ingredients triggers your body to do what it should. Now, what I love about this product is it's affordable. It's £43.50 a month, and that's delivered to your door. Here in the UK, we offer a subscription-based program, just like HelloFresh or your Amazon Prime, because we don't expect people to sign up and pay 6 months together. We recommend people get on it, and they get it on a monthly basis. So that is our flagship product. Now, the second major reason that we age, the second major reason that we start to get illness and disease is something called mitochondrial dysfunction. And really, really simply, every single cell in your body has a mitochondria. The cells in your heart are going to have a lot of mitochondria. They're working 24/7, keeping your heart beating. The one in your earlobe is a little less active. But as we get older, the mitochondria start to break down. And again, don't do this now, but go have a look after this webinar, put in mitochondrial dysfunction, and you'll see it's associated with pretty much every major illness and disease we get. What does NRF1 do? It quite simply creates a pathway to every cell in your body. It increases the production of something called the ATP, and it restores your mitochondria. Whenever I'm talking to people often ask, well, what can you expect to feel when you're on these products? And we do not claim to cure, prevent, treat, mitigate any illness or diseases. But what we know is when you can take out the primary cause of those diseases and you can improve them, your body starts to heal itself. So, whoever invited you on tonight's call, go back to them. They can share other people's experiences on this product, but everyone can expect to have more energy, better sleep, less aches and pains, and improved mental agility, less fatigue and fog. And I often say to people, think about how you felt when you woke up this morning, and think about how you felt when you woke up 20 years ago. And then think about yourself, how you want to feel in 20 years from now. Protandim is as much as a sort of future-proofing your body, as an insurance policy for keeping yourself healthier for longer. Now, NRF1, we recommend you take it with NRF2. And one of the primary reasons is that the mitochondria is depleted because of oxidative stress. So there's no point restoring your mitochondria and still being, having the hell battered out of your body by oxidative stress. I use the analogy, if you had a car, you wouldn't go get the engine service and then leave the bonnet up overnight for the rain and the wind and possible vandals to get in. You'd look after both of them. So those are our flagship products that are available on a monthly subscription program. Now, the last product, I'm going to touch on this so briefly, and we're going to move on to the business, is our skincare range. The company have developed the only skincare system where they've been able to take this NRF2 technology and put it in skincare, where they've been able to harness it in that. And this is something that within typically 30 days, people see a massive difference to their skin, improved elasticity, firmness, reduction in lines, and a much brighter feel to their skin. And that is a product available to you. So looking at how you can build a business with LifeVantage. And if I have your permission, I want to give you the bigger picture on this. And I think it is safe to say that business as we know it has changed forever. The internet has provided a platform. Telephone apps have provided a platform that actually allows people get set up in a business, harnessing the technology that's available for a lot less than it did 20, 30 years ago. And again, I know I asked in the chat whether any of you were traditional business owners, and I see Eileen and Malcolm and Caroline have all popped in a one there. And there may be other ones. I was a traditional business owner. Before I could pick up the phone in the morning, I had to pay rent, rates, staff, electricity. I had to trademark things. I had to have accountants in place. I had massive overheads. And we're going to have a look at how that looks. So looking at what we call the new economy, what LifeVantage have done is they have embraced all these new platforms, all these new trends, and created a model, a way of us building a business. And I kind of want to touch on some of these trends because I think they're really important. If you think about something like Uber, I'm not here to debate whether Uber is a good thing or a bad thing, but what Uber has done for the end user, someone like me, if I want to quickly grab a cab, I had some people over from Ireland on the weekend, and interestingly, I said, I'm going to call an Uber, and they said to me, and I went, oh, it's outside, and that was 3 minutes later. They went, how did that happen? They couldn't believe it happened so quickly. But it's convenient. Yes, it's convenient. For the taxi driver, for somebody who wants to develop, whether it's a part-time or a full-time income, it allows them to become a taxi driver without the overheads of setting up a full business. They download an app, they fill out some forms, they make sure they comply with all the rules, and they get going. When they want to drive, they turn on their app, get in their car, and fares come in. They don't have to worry about billing. They don't have to worry about change. It's all done electronically. You know, even now, I'm so glad we can finally tip Uber drivers. You can actually click, do you want to tip them? And it's done automatically. Take, again, a company like HelloFresh, interesting because it's adopted the subscription-based program where people are signing up for a weekly delivery of fresh food that comes not ready-made, but with ingredient cards for us to follow. So great for somebody who loves cooking but hasn't got time to think about it too much. It's subscription-based, which means it's convenient and easy. Airbnb, you know, a great example, largest booking platform in the world, yet they don't own a single hotel or guest house. And it's allowed people with like little gîtes in the south of France that historically found it so hard to promote themselves and get their little gîte out and rent it out for the 10 or 12 weeks of the year out there. And again, Amazon, I mean, Amazon is now the largest bookstore in the world, but they don't own a single bookstore. And, you know, half the traders on Amazon are e-commerce entrepreneurs sitting at home. And obviously Facebook has provided a platform for people to go out there. So what LifeVantage has done is they have embraced all of that technology and also understanding the power of network marketing, the power of incentivizing people to get out there and share this our products with people. They have been able to do that. And this is just a quick slide that shows the growth in network marketing over the last, well, it's not the last 5 years, it was 5 years up until 2015, but we're still waiting on industry figures to come in there. So what it does is it allows people to become entrepreneurs. And, you know, it's an interesting one because I left university and I set up my first company, and I worked that until I met my husband and then sold it and moved to the UK, and I set up a yoga business with my sister-in-law, and I'd never had a job. I'd never had a job. When I found myself 7 years ago in that position, which a lot of women do, guys, I'm sorry, but you know, you either have a wife or a sister or somebody you know, and in many cases it's the man now not going back to work, it's the wife and the man at home. But I was at home with 3 young children and I wanted to work, but I didn't have a business idea at that stage. I knew I couldn't go back into the yoga, a specific area of yoga I'd been in, because I had an anti-compete. I didn't want to go back into recruitment because actually, you know, I'd left that, what I felt was a corporate world behind. So I was looking for something. So this gives people the opportunity to set up a business at a relatively low investment with unlimited income potential. You know, I would even go say, it says their laptop lifestyle. I would even go far as saying, if you have a good smartphone, this is a business that you can set up. And again, just like the Uber driver who doesn't have to think about business cards or a website or a billing system or how's he going to get paid, we're not holding stock. We're not having a physical location. If you, from the moment you actually enroll as a distributor with the company, you get an e-commerce platform. So you might be sitting here in London and your best friend in Chicago wants the product. They can order via your portal, pay in their local currency, receive the product delivered in locally, and you'll get paid into your bank account. So this is giving you access to a company that's in 9 marketplaces. And that really excited me when I looked at this, because when I came to look at this, the company was in less than 9 marketplaces. It was doing $200 million a year. And what that spoke to me was massive opportunity, because they're about to go global. And it also meant, you know, if I've got a friend in Australia and they want to try the product, I send them the link with the Aussie flag on it, they click on it, boom, that product is off to them. So diving in to tell you what we actually do as a LifeVantage distributor. Well, we build a network, and we have 2 types of networks that we build. One is that of consumers. So they are people who are taking our product, they're staying on our product, taking it month in, month out. Customers recommend customers. And one of the things that really appealed to me when I looked at this company for the first time is that around about 80% of the people who enroll with LifeVantage are customers. And that speaks a lot, especially for this industry. If you've been in this industry before, you know, you'll often get a network of distributors using the product, but no real customers. We're actually the complete opposite. I look into my downline and we've got 1,500 customers, less than 300 distributors. And that's the right sort of ratio you want to be looking at. So we go out and find people who want to consume the products. We also go out and look for distributors. So distributors are people like me who see the long-term income potential in this, and they go, okay, I want in. Okay, we have distributors who are very customer focused. We have distributors who are out there building big teams. And in doing so, the company is going to reward you for doing that. So taking a look at how to get started. In the LifeVantage world, we have two business systems. We have something called a gold pack and we've got something called a platinum pack, and I'll show those in a moment. But in the UK, we have a unique law that prohibits us from spending more than £200 for our first 7 days. It's called a cooling off period. So on day one, we enroll on something called the starter kit, and it comes with 2 duo packs. So one for you to get started on yourself and one we're going to show you and help you get out there and share those. It's also going to come with your e-commerce platform and a full guide and blueprint to success, a training manual on how to get going. And that's a one-off fee. You never pay for your website ever again. It's there for you. Then what happens is once the 7-day period has lapsed, you get to choose which business system you want. Now you've got Go Pack, which with shipping is around $360, or the Platinum Pack, which is $851, and that is actually comes with free shipping. Now, both of those pack unlock the full compensation plan, and we're going to have a look at the compensation plan now in a moment. And there's a few associated incentives and added bonuses that come with the Platinum Pack. One being incentives to win trips, and I won't go into that. There is a full video that breaks down the entire compensation plan that if you want to go take a look at, we can direct you to this. But what I want to do this evening is I wanted to give you an idea of why you might want to get involved. And most people get into this industry because they want a royalty income or a residual income. And within the LifeVantage compensation plan, we have 2 types of incomes. One is what we call linear and one is residual, and I'm going to explain that. Linear income is income we get for work done today, paid today. So you might be in a day job and you get paid weekly or monthly. That's a linear income. You might be a health practitioner, like a physiotherapist. If you treat a client today, you get paid for that today. So it's income that you create from the work you do today. Now, residual or royalty style income is work you do today, but you continue to get paid for it well into the future. A great example would be J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books. She wrote those books 20 odd years ago, and she's continuing to be paid for them. Does she still work? Yes, she does, but she chooses very much what she's working at now, opposed to sitting down and sweating over creating new books. The Beatles wrote songs back in the 60s and 70s. They're still getting paid for that now. People who generate property portfolios do, but again, they do that through an element of creating an element of risk. So that's a royalty style income, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So taking just to let you know, the next step is once you have enrolled, you'll get your new distributor training. You'll be shown how to launch your business. You'll be shown how to start enrolling preferred customers and distributors and how to start earning commissions. Now, again, I'm going to talk a bit about the training system that we have in place. So looking at the linear income. So this is one-off income. Every time you introduce a new customer or to the products, the company is going to pay you a one-off fee. So this is an example. Could be a typical week. You go introduce somebody just to the NRF2, somebody to the duo pack, somebody's got a bit of skincare product in there, and this is the sort of income you can generate from that. What else does the company pay you for? Every time you introduce a new distributor and you help them get started in the business, you will incur a one-off bonus for helping that person get started. So you help somebody on the starter pack, you're going to earn $46.72. You help them start working with the gold system, you're going to earn a further £99. And when they work with the platinum system, you can see again, you're going to get paid more for working with those people. So those are one-off incomes. But looking at why most people join this business, and I think it's really safe to say, if you're the sort of person who loves the product and maybe you've heard lots about it, going off and sharing the product with people, you're going to help a lot of people locally to you. Okay, if you know, I was talking to somebody on the weekend and they put it beautifully. That if you just work with the product, you save your village. And I went, that's a really good way of put it. They said if you go build a business, an organization of people sharing the product, you go save the world. And I said that's an even better way of putting it. So letting me excuse me, break this down, and stay with me while I do this. Now, as a little bit of a disclaimer before I go into this, I'm giving you an example of how this can work, okay? But what I want you to think is 3 to 5 years from now, if you take it as a given that you're coachable, that you want to do this, that you're willing to learn and you're willing to follow a system, this is what is possible. So there, here on the left, we've got a royalty style income example, okay? And let's just say you go out and introduce 5 people. Now, this could be 5 people in the next week. It could be 5 people in the next month, or it could be 5 people in the next year. How quickly you do this is completely down to you. We'll talk about time commitments and everything else in a moment. But based on the fact that we're going to introduce everybody 5 new distributors to the business, and we're going to teach them a basic business building principle, okay? They use the product themselves and they find 4 customers. Okay, that's actually the maximum the company wants us to do it from a compensation perspective. I personally love customers. I have 87 enrolled personal customers because it's a product I'm so passionate about. I've had such an amazing time with it myself. But let me just say, basic principle is get on the product yourself, help 4 people get on the product. So you've suddenly got on level 1, people you've introduced, you're being paid 2% of the activity on that level. And your residual income is £14.60 a month. That is not an income you're going to be writing home about. It might just about pay a TV license in a year. It's just over £100. But again, based on the fact that you're going to show those 5 how to go out and get their 5, we've now got on your second level 25 people. Excuse me. You're going to get paid 5% at that level. So again, everybody with that same principle of using the product for customers, you've now got a residual income of £182 a month. Again, not life-changing, but it's moving into 12, 50, a couple of thousand a year. That's a holiday. And again, let the 25 introduce 5. You now got an organization of 125 people all on the product, sharing the product, being paid 9% at that level. And it suddenly moves into, for a lot of households here in the UK and across Europe, a second income, 1,600. And again, you know, 125 get 5, you've got 625 people. You're now looking at a full-time income for certainly well over a full-time income, way above the national wage. Now, as I said, will everybody do this? Not necessarily. But what happens in this industry is when you get started, your effort's going to be like this, because your job is not about going out and finding 10,000 customers yourself. The idea is you go out and find, you know, I always recommend everybody go find 10 customers because that's a really good solid base to start building. And then you can show other people to do that. You're going to start building an organization that will pay you long into the future. And as I always say to people, will everybody do this? Not necessarily. Does it work in this perfect storm? Absolutely not. You know, you might go out and find 5 people and one of those people finds 10 people and another one of those people only finds 3 people and the others just have a few customers. And, you know, but it's, and I often get people saying, but Lara, I don't know 3,125 people. I'm going, you don't need to. You know, every day people are being introduced to you. You get to meet new people all the time. People come into your business who bring people. So that's an idea of how to generate a royalty style income. And the company will continue to pay you for the organization that you build, not just here in the UK. And this is really important to think. Right now, we're in the US, Canada, and Mexico, Japan, Australia, UK, Netherlands, and Germany, and Hong Kong. We've just launched mainline China in a different model to this. And actually, you have to have achieved a certain level within the business before you go build in China, because the company, being NASDAQ quoted, are so transparent. They want to tick all the boxes, make sure they do everything correctly. But that is where, over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see the whole of Europe being opened up. So the opportunity right now is phenomenal. We've also got something called a generational match bonus. And this is a bonus that when you can get your head around this bonus, it's really powerful. The company are incentivizing you for helping your people. Okay, and I often think back to traditional business days when I was when I had my recruitment company, and if I had a new person start, and I'd say, you know, Anna, this is Rachel. She's just started today. Can you look after her? Can you show her the ropes? You know, get her going. Anna will help her, but nobody wants the new person in the office to be better than them, because they don't want them to surpass them and get the bonuses that, or get the what you call it, promotions ahead of them. Whereas what this does is the company incentivizes us to help people build their paychecks through the generational match bonus. And then the last one is the elite pool. What I would say to you, what the company do every month, they take 4% from the previous month's profit and they put it in a pool and they share it amongst the 4 top ranks in the business. And this is phenomenal. So this is like profit share in a $200 million a year company. So as I mentioned earlier, we're a NASDAQ quoted company. We have to be completely transparent with everything. And what the company do on an annual basis is they print an income disclosure statement. So this shows the average monthly income that is paid out at the various different ranks within the business. And this is the proportion that's actually paid out. And you can see the company primarily pay the vast majority of the money out to the middle ranks, to the people who are in building mode. And we were very privileged on the weekend that we've just had, that we had Tyler Daniels, who was actually the very first distributor in the business, and he's a Master Pro 10. And he showed us in a room, a private room with a group of leaders, his business. And he has a business turning over $10 million a month. Now, he started in 2009. And the positive impact that the organization he has built is phenomenal. The amount of people whose health has improved as a result of that. And over, again, 80% of the people in his organization were customers. And he has not had less than a 6-figure check a month, not a year, a month, since I think it was April 2012. And I'm not sharing that with you to be brash, but it's to share what is possible with this. You know, tonight I said at the start of this, I wanted to show those of you who are interested how you can get involved by developing a residual income. Now, most people always say to me, you know, they always say, well, why LifeVantage? And I covered some key points at the very beginning. For me, it was having a product that was completely unique, that nobody else has right now. Protandim is the only product that the FDA approves the statement it lowers oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So you're not going to walk into Holland & Barrett in 2 weeks from now and go, look, there's an NRF2 on the shelves. It's not going to happen. The product's been so tightly patented and protected. Okay, 99% of the world have not even heard of this technology yet, and we're right ahead of a trend. And I would say to anybody, you know, when is the best time to join a business? It's at the forefront of a trend that is going to absolutely transform how people take their health forward. So last thing I always get is people always say to me, you know, can I do this? And I'll say, look, here's what I'd say. It does not matter where you are joining us from. You know, whether you come from a business background, you're previously entrepreneurial, you've never worked in any type of commercial environment, you might be from a vocation like a teacher or a police officer or a nurse. It does not matter what background you come from. I always say if somebody is coachable and willing to learn, and here's what I would say, willing to put 10 hours a week in, you know, 7% of the people I work with do this around another business, another job, maybe family commitments, studies, whatever it is. This is not something that is a full-time, but it can become a full-time thing. You know, for me, it took me 3 years before I could go full-time in this industry and hit a 6-figure a year income. Before that, I had other things going on. I had to. So But we do have a proven system in place. We have, as a group of leaders, there's 25 of us in Team Heart who come from 6 and 7 figure a year incomes in this industry. And we've put together a really, really simple system, a launch guide that's designed to help your business get up and running, what we call a learn and earn guide, which is once you've got customers and distributors, how you can keep that momentum going. And then, once you hit a certain level, we have leadership training involved, because, as people often say, Laura, how do you manage a team of 300 people? And I go, I don't. I'm raising leaders all the time. As people's businesses grow, so does their skill set. So all of that is available to you. So what I want to say in closing is I want to say thank you all very much for joining us this evening. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'm going to stay on for probably about 3 or 4 minutes to see if anybody has any questions. But whatever you want, whatever you decide for you, I hope it's the right thing. My job is, I often get asked, my job is purely to educate and inform people to make a decision that's right for you. What I know right now is the company is gearing up to go across the whole of Europe, and we are looking for people who share our vision for where this could go. So I am going to stop the recording, and I am happy to